Hello friends, in my previous video Selenium tutorial for beginners part 2, I have explained all the WebDriver methods and properties, browser navigation and how we can handle cookies. Today I am going to explain how to work with different controls on the web page using Selenium and C#.NET. You can also like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel Automation Tech Guru to get more videos. Common controls used in web page. Below are the basic controls which are used on web page. Input box, password field, options and radio buttons, checkbox, drop downs. So we will go through one by one controls and we will see how we can handle those controls using Selenium WebDriver. Working with input box using Selenium WebDriver. So first of all we have to add namespaces. So using openqa.selenium, and second one is using open.selenium.chrome. Now we will declare a one driver, iWebDriver. First we will initialize WebDriver, Chrome driver. So driver equals to new Chrome driver. So it will initialize a driver as a Chrome driver. Then we will navigate to given website where you want to perform your automation. So driver dot manage navigate dot go to URL, and you can pass the URL of the website. So I'm just pasting. This URL. So it will open this website. Now we will create an object of the web elements. So iWeb element. So now we will create all the objects for the different controls for text. First we will use for text box. So I web element first name equal to driver dot find element. You can use the find element method, and by name, because we will see you can see the when you put a pointer on first name text box, you will see the name is f name. So you will pass this by dot name, and you can pass that value of name is f name. So in this way you can find the text box, first name text box. Then we need to input something on this text box. So first name dot clear, if something is there on the text box you can clear it, and first name dot send keys, and you can pass the first name. I am just passing my name. So it will it will use this send keys, and this name will be added in the text box. Same thing we can use for the last name. So just change the webdriver web element name is last name equal to driver dot element find element by name, and you can pass the L name, that is name value for the last name, and then last name dot clear and last name dot send keys, and you can pass your last name. So I'm just passing my last name. And in the same way, we also asking for the username in the third text box. So you can use the username name, and you can define username equal to driver dot find element by name username, and username dot clear and username dot send key. So you can pass your username. So these are the inputs for the input box. Now we just run this test, and we can see how it's filling the all the fields, text fields on the page. So I'm just running this. So first we just debug this code. Since I'm running this first time, so it will take a little bit time to build this and run the test case. So now use F10 or F11 and you can debug line by line. So once it will reach the breakpoint reach to the driver equal to new Chrome driver, it will initialize the Chrome browser. Just taking some time to initialize it. So you can see this this Chrome browser is open. Now we will use the navigation, and we are passing this URL, so you can see the page is opened. Okay, now we can move ahead, and we can see how it's finding the element for the input box and passing the inputs. So you can see this, it's typing in the first name and last name and username. So you can see the first name we have passed Tejsing, and last name is Palharia, and username is tejsing.palharia. So in this way we have seen that how we can pass the input box values to the input box using the WebDriver. So working with password field using Selenium WebDriver. So in the same way, how we are using the text box input, same way we can use the password field also. So just we will find the name for the password, that is password. We will pass iWave element password equal to driver dot find element by name dot password, and password dot clear and password dot send key. So instead of typing password, it just type stars. Now working with options using Selenium WebDriver. So how we can use a radio button or options? So first, since we have multiple radio buttons on the web page, so we will define list of the element. We will find the list of the element. So I list iWave element options equals to driver dot find elements, and we will pass y dot name, and we will see the name on the page. So just go to the page, pick the pointer, and check the gender. That will be a you can see the type is radio and name is gender. So by name, and you can pass the name, so it will give you the two elements. And then option, we just need to select one of them, so we just use the indexes option 0 dot click, so it will select the male. Now you can just I already run this test case, so you can see and then dot click, so it will select the male. So this is what how this is how the option button is working. Now working with the checkbox using Selenium WebDriver. So for this checkbox also we can use the same thing. Just let's see how it's working. So just since we need to select multiple option, we have multiple option to select, right? So you can see the input type equal to checkbox, and we will use the name of the element. So iWave element checkbox equals to driver dot find elements and by name, and you can pass the name is community. So there are four checkboxes we have used on the page. Yeah, we have used driver dot find elements. So we have to use ilist because it will return multiple elements. So if I forget to use ilist, so I'm just setting ilist iWave element checkboxes equals to driver dot find elements dot by dot name, and we will pass the name. So since we need to select one checkbox one by one, so we use the for each loop here. So just write for each where checkbox in checkboxes, and we need to get a value of a checkbox, then we will check and we will select it. So variable value equal to checkbox dot get attribute, it will give you the value of the specific element. So checkbox dot get attribute, and you can pass attribute value is uh, so we have written where value equal to checkbox dot get attribute value. So it will returns value of the checkbox in each iteration. Now we will check if value or checkbox dot selected. Yes, first we need to check if checkbox is not selected. If selected, then we will not click on it, otherwise it will unselected. And then we will check the value dot contain and .net or net. So you can see the value of there are four values, and one is .net and other one is Java. So why we are doing this, because we need to select only two checkboxes, one for .net and second one for Java. So value dot contain .net checkbox dot click, and in the same way we can pass the Java. We just run this code. So now you can see the checkboxes having four elements because we have four checkboxes on the page. So it will iterate one by one and you will get the value. If value is .NET, so it will check the .NET checkbox. It's not selected here. Once the code will executed, it will select .NET. So you can see the .NET is selected. In the same way, when you go to the next checkbox, it's Java, so it will select the Java also. So in this way you can uh, find the element for the checkbox. You can check the value of the checkbox, and whatever checkbox you have to select, you can just use the value dot contain and you can pass the value of that checkbox. For other controls, we need to understand select element class in Selenium. So what is select element class? Select element class provide a convenience method for manipulating selections of options in an HTML select element. Select tag on the HTML can be handled with this class, and it allow us to select or deselect options like drop down or multiple selection controls. How we can find this? So variable element equal to driver dot find element by id, and you can pass the select id and select element. We will create one object for the select element, so I'm creating for the drop down though. So select element drop down equal to new select element, and you can pass that element which is find by the id. So this select class having below methods and property. You can see the attach image where you can see all the methods which is available in the select element. So all selected options, select deselect all, deselect by index, deselect by text, deselect by value, then is multiple options, select by index, select by text, select by value, and select options. So below are the three basic methods which actually most widely used for the drop down or multiple selection controls. So wide select element dot select by index, integer index, it will select the option by index. Select by text, string text, it will select all the options by the text displayed on the page. And select by value, you can pass the string value, and this will select an option by value. So working with the drop down and multiple select controls using Selenium. So you can see we have one drop down country, and by default India is selected. So before going ahead, we need to add one more package. So just go to project name, manage nugget package, and search for the Selenium. So you can see there is one more package, selenium.support. It will provide all the support classes for the Selenium WebDriver. So just click on install. So after installing this package, you will get all other classes which is required for different controls, and select element class is also a part of this selenium.support. So you can see this package is installed. Now you can just go to the references and you can find two DLL webdriver and webdriver.support. And now we need to include one namespace for the select element class. So using openqa.selenium dot support dot UI. Now we can write the code for dropdown. So first we will find the element. So I web element equal to driver dot find element, and you can pass value y. You can check. So in this page, drop down is saying select id, so you can pass the select id. So by id, and you can pass the value of the id. Now we will create one object for select element. Select element drop down, because we want to use drop down here. So drop down equal to new select element, and you can pass element which is find in above code. Now drop down dot, you can see all the methods like select all selected options, deselect all, deselect by index, deselect by text, deselect by value, and is multiple, it will return true or false. Select by index, select by text, select by value. So I'm just using select by index, and I will pass index as a 2. So I'm just running this code. So this select element class basically allow you to use all the properties and methods for selecting selecting from the drop down or multiple selection list. You can select by index, select by text, select by value, and in the same way you can deselect by text, index, or value. In the select by index you need to pass the index. In the select by text you need to pass the text of the options, and in the select by value you need to pass the value of the option. Now I'm just debugging the code. So it will initialize again the Chrome browser. So it's running in one go. It's using all the filling all the details. Now we reach to the element, and drop down. You can see in the drop down options, you can find the four options which we have added in the drop down. So first one is the India, that is already selected. So now I'm just you can see India is already selected, but I pass index 2. It means the value of the drop down. So you can see the third one is second is France, third is Germany. So Germany is selected. So uh, in this video we have seen how we can use the controls for the Selenium, and we have seen the select element class. To get more videos, please subscribe my YouTube channel Automation Tech Guru. Thank you.